The sixth generation of the Ford F-Series is a line of pickup trucks and medium-duty commercial trucks that were produced by Ford from 1973 to 1979. These were the last generation of trucks to use the F-Series chassis introduced in 1965. After a decade as a compact SUV, the Bronco was redesigned as a shortened version of the F-Series. This generation also marks the introduction of the F-150, which today is the most popular model. This generation is noted for the body panel's durability as Ford used extensive amounts of galvanized sheet metal to fight corrosion. In 1976, the F-Series became the best-selling trucks in America, a position it has continued to hold ever since. Design history equals 1973 minus 1975 equals. In 1973, a new model was offered the F350 SRW pickup. These were new heavy-duty pickups made with contractors and camping enthusiasts in mind. They rode on longer wheelbase chassis but were the same overall length as an F100 or F250 pickup. Ordering the Campus Special package for the F350 SRW made it a Super Campus Special, which was designed for the much heavier slide-in campers coming on the market at that time. For 1974, the F-Series became available in an extended cab for the first time. Dubbed as the Super Cab, it offered the six-passenger seating of the crew cab in a slightly shorter length. For 1975, the F-150 was introduced. As part of an effort to circumvent upcoming emissions requirements, this truck was designed with a heavier maximum payload when properly equipped, than the F-100. With the half-ton F-100 still in production, the new F-150 was referred to as the heavy half-ton. Equals 1976 minus 1977 equals. In 1975, this familiar split grille design was facelifted slightly to feature black accents around the headlights and a refined appearance overall. 1977 models received a redesign of exterior trim, with the cowl insignias made smaller and moved near the windshield. It also would be the last year of the medium-duty F500. Equals 1978 minus 1979 equals. For 1978, the appearance of the F-Series changed the most since 1972, when the split grille was overhauled in favor of a single-piece grille insert design. Much larger than before, the grille no longer incorporated the headlights or the turn signals. The headlights were placed in housings beside the grille, and the park turn signal lamps were now placed below them. Additionally, a new chrome-plated letter set reading FORD could now be seen on the hood immediately above the grille. In 1977, the round headlight design was retained for the custom trim level. A luxury lariat trim was also introduced for 1978. Ranger, Ranger XLT, and Ranger Lariat trim levels incorporated rectangular headlights with optional chrome headlight doors and the chrome grille insert. For 1979, round headlights were completely replaced by rectangular ones and the surrounding grille insert that framed the headlights was now available in either black, or chrome to match that of the aluminum grille frame. Also new for 1978 was the addition of a four-wheel drive supercab in either part or full-time four-wheel drive. Full-time four-wheel drive utilized a chain-driven NP203 transfer case whereas the part-time four-wheel drive was equipped with a gear-driven NP205. The NP203 shift pattern was lock, low, neutral, high, lock. The NP205 shift pattern was 4 low, neutral, 2 high, 4 high. 1979 was the first year a four-wheel drive F350 Supercab was offered. Models: F100, F101, F102, F103, F104, F105, F106, F107, F108, F109, F10N, 1/2 ton, F110, F111, F112, F113 1/2 ton, 5,250 euro 6,500 GVWR max, F150, F151, heavy 1/2 ton, F250, F251, F252, F253. F254, F255, F256, F257, F258, F259, 3/4 ton, F260, F261, F262, F263, F264, F265, F266, 3/4 ton, F350, F350, F351, F352, F353, F354, F355, F356, F357, F358, F359. F35P, 1 ton, F360, 1 ton. The GVWR ratings for these trucks was tied to a combination of wheel, spring, axle and brake combinations. The series code on the ID tag denotes which model, and from that it can be determined what weight rating each vehicle has. 4A, 4 trucks can also be identified by the vehicle identification number and on the ID plate as a serial number. For example, F10 is an F100 two-wheel drive, but F11 is an F100 4A, 4, and so on. Serial numbers beginning with an X are Super Cab models. Trim, Custom, Ranger, Ranger XLT, Lariat, an optional Explorer trim package was available with the Ranger trim level. Powertrain. Australian production. Ford Australia assembled right-hand drive 6th generation F-Series that were fitted with a lineup of locally sourced engines. 1973-1975 Initially they were available with US-sourced 240 and 300 CID straight-six engines. From August 1974 the 240 CID engine was replaced with locally sourced 250 CID straight-six and the 300 CID was replaced by the locally sourced 302 Cleveland V8 engines. The 302 Cleveland was a destroked 351 Cleveland built using tooling exported to Australia after the closure of the Cleveland production line. The 302 Cleveland model was the first Australian 6th gen to receive an automatic transmission as an option. The Canadian-built 4WD F250 was added to the lineup in 1975 with a 300 CID straight-six engine to supplement the locally assembled rear-wheel drive F100, F250 and F350. 1976-1977 The 250 CID straight-six was upgraded with a new cross-flow head and rebadged as the 4.1-litre, increasing power and lowering emissions to meet new legislation being introduced in Australia. A locally assembled 4WD F100 with Australian-built engines was added to the lineup to replace the fully imported 4WD F250. 1978-1979 In 1978, the 351 Cleveland V8 replaced the 302 Cleveland V8 in the F250 and F350. The 302 Cleveland continued alongside the 351 Cleveland in the F100. The 4.1-litre inline six-cylinder continued to be sold across the range. In 1979, the F250 and F350 had an automatic gearbox as an option for the first time in Australia. Ford Bronco. Starting in 1978, Ford redesigned their Ford Bronco and based it upon the F-150. The Bronco was now nearly identical to the F-150 with the addition of a removable camper shell. The new Bronco incorporated design characteristics which eliminated leaky roofs and body flex associated with other full-size removable top utility vehicles of the era. This allowed Ford to compete better with the Chevrolet Blazer by offering a larger and more luxurious SUV while minimizing production costs since many parts were shared with the F-Series trucks. The Bronco was only offered with the 351M and 400 V8 engines. But rarely it was available with a big block 460, but came with a different transmission to fit the bell housings of the large engine. Medium duty. Largely unchanged since 1967, medium-duty trucks saw little change during the 1970s. Post-1973 models are most easily distinguished by their larger headlight surrounds in the grille in comparison to 1967 to 1972 models. In 1977, a 370 cubic inch version of the 460 V8 replaced the previous FE engines. Shared with the L-Series trucks, the Caterpillar 3208 V8 became an option in F700 and F800 models. Diesel-powered trucks were distinguished by an extra zero. The lowest GVWR F500 was discontinued after 1977. Appearances in media. The television series Arrested Development prominently features the Blue family driving a 1978 Ford F-350 airport stair car after they had to sell the company jet and the new owners didn't want it. The stair car is featured in many gags throughout the show, including an inmate trying to use the stairs to escape over the fence when the Bluths visit their dad, who was incarcerated in prison. A mid-1980s model F-350, and a 1967-72 F-350 updated with a late 70s grille have also been used. The stair car was also used by Netflix in public appearances to promote Arrested Development's 2013 Resurrection. References